Hey guys, if you think that being a bride in this world is easy and full of happiness, well, Meg might prove you a little wrong. It's full of comedy now. And she's bringing her show to Edinburgh Fringe this year. And she's also my guest today. So, hello, Meg, and how have you been? How's it going? How's everything?
Oh, everything is just swell. We are just can't wait to go to Scotland, and I'm not stressed at all.
Yeah, I can
I,
see that with your smile. I can see that from your smile.
yeah, no, I'm just like getting all of the little details together at the moment, because I fly out in less than a week. So it's a lot of the little annoying things coming together. But I can't wait to get there and just hit the ground running.
Is this going to be your first time in Scotland? Or
This is my second time in Scotland. I went to the Fringe in 2024 with a different show, and I had so much fun. I was so naive. Not that I'm any better now. I feel like I showed up like a chicken with its head cut off, and I was just like figuring it out, seeing everything I could. I was in a wee little venue with my little solo show, and I had so much fun, and I feel like I learned a lot from that experience. So I'm really excited to go back having known that, and I feel like the team I have around me now is so strong, and I'm really happy to be working with everyone.
so how did you find Edinburgh? Like not just the Fringe, just the city and everything. How was that experience?
I thought it was so magical. I thought it was like a dream. It was so pretty. I loved all of the really, really old cemeteries. I would just go for a walk in the cemeteries and just like the goosebumps. Like it's haunted in the most beautiful way. I loved it. I thought it was just so adorable.
And Fringe is full of artists, so you get the beauty and the creative people. It must have been magical.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't wait.
So how long have you been doing stand-up and open mics and everything? How long has it been as a stand-up artist for you?
Yeah, I've been doing stand up probably for the last 5 years. I started my career in performing. I was a dancer for a really long time and I did a lot of musical theater. That's actually what my first show was about. It was called How to Give Up on Your Dreams. And it was kind of about switching paths in life and changing your career. So yeah, I was in theater in dance specifically for most of my life. And then I don't know. I somehow ended up doing comedy, and here we are, and I love it, and it's great and terrible and all of the things, but I like wouldn't have it any other way.
But being a dancer, you must be used
Mhm.
to applause. And now being a stand-up artist, you have to get used to laughs. So, do
Yeah.
you remember being as a dancer getting your first applause on stage? And then as a comedian getting your first laugh on stage? Do you remember that feeling, those two feelings?
Yeah, that's such an interesting way to put it, and honestly, I haven't thought about it that way. I think that I mean, I would have been like 8 when I first was on stage as a dancer. I was quite young, and I do remember my final bow as we were playing trolls. That was my first role on stage. I was a troll. But I remember taking a bow and just feeling like, oh, this is what I'm supposed to do, like the energy of live performance. And being a comedian, it's in a way, I love it more getting the laughter. I feel like there is a sense of people really getting to know me and my point of view, and I just feel like, at least personally, I'm able to communicate my whimsical weird self better through comedy than I was in dance. And yeah, I think getting my first laugh was a wild ride. I loved it. I felt very seen.
Because as a dancer, you're very consumed in, the music and everything. But as a comedian, you get the stage.
Yeah. Yeah, and I've really grown to love interacting with the audience, not necessarily like always crowd work, but just being able to see their faces react to what you're saying is such a fun, intimate experience that I feel like makes me love comedy so much because it really is about the relationship between yourself and the audience.
Oh my God, that's beautiful. And I'm sorry, I'm not spoiling your show, but since you have been a dancer, can we expect some physical comedy in your show also?
Well, you best believe it. I'm making that dance degree work. Okay, there is there's a lot of physical comedy. There might be a dance break or two in the show itself, but yeah, always, I'm always just running around. I can't not dance, actually. That's probably the biggest note I always get from directors is, can you just like stand still? And I'm like, I'll try.
You remind me of Michael movie. I don't know if you have seen that movie when Michael was singing in the studio and he couldn't keep his legs calm. You remind me pretty much of that.
Yeah, that's the vibe I bring.
But being a professional dancer and then making people laugh on your dance, it must have been so fucking difficult.
Yeah, I mean the transition from dance to comedy was weird. It's just they're such different worlds. Dance is so structured and it's very polished. And, I was doing more musical theater type dancing, so more like uh, Broadway chorus line type, like very specific. And I'm quite tall, which I know you can't tell on the Zoom. So a lot of like the tappy, big showgirl numbers. And it was just very precise. And comedy is, one might say, the exact opposite, where it's very in the moment. You're improving, you're making things up, it doesn't go well. You have to figure out your way out of situation. So definitely a learning experience, but it to me feels more freeing doing this.
No, but it must have been really difficult for you. Making the art that made you like subtle and everything and taking that and then getting laugh on it. So like I have
Mhm.
seen a lot of dance routines being like very flawless and then
Yeah.
some dance routine that must have been very difficult to perform, yet it makes us laugh. So that's what
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
thinking
yeah,
about your show.
yeah, yeah. It's fun. It is fun, and there's something beautiful about combining dance with comedy and figuring it out.
So how does a jolly person like you wrote a show which is like how to give up on your dreams?
I think that I don't know. I was gonna say, I think I went to Catholic school, so it's a lot of suppressed emotions.
Ah.
But no, I think that like obviously like bad things happen in life, and I have this in Bride to Be too, where we just kind of get to create our own environment. And like things can suck, but like we're still very much in charge of our own feelings and emotions and how we process that. And drugs, antidepressants, they really help.
Yeah. Oh, everything. I shouldn't say this, but it's kind of a need for the comedians. When you are so creative in your head, it's kind of a need.
Yeah.
But how does that writing come along of the first show? Where did you get the inspiration and how did you decide that how will you frame that first show?
The first show? Honestly, that was like it was kind of when I was going through, it was like earlier on in my career. Not that I've been doing stand up like a crazy long amount of time, but it was earlier on and I was really still processing some of those emotions of letting go of this person that I had been my whole life. This again dream that I had had my whole life to be a Broadway dancer, and figuring out how to kind of deal and sit with those emotions. And I feel like I've seen it a lot from other people and friends who have had to pivot or change their life, plan. And I think that comes like as you age too. Sorry, spoiler. Your life doesn't always turn out exactly as you had envisioned. And so I think that in general, that was kind of the theme was like, it's not always how you envision, but that's not a bad thing. It does come with a lot of emotions, but like I found a lot of power in just accepting my truth, like accepting where I was and accepting kind of like what I needed to do next. And I feel like once you allow that in, you're kind of, free to actually become who you were supposed to be.
That sounds like a very optimistic show for a very pessimistic title.
It's fun.
Do you remember the first time you said a joke and the room and it bombed? Like, do you remember that first time of
Oh
bombing?
my God, the first bomb. Okay, here's my problem. I came from such a theater background that when I started doing like stand up, I felt so fine bombing in a way that like wasn't helpful. But to me, I was like, oh, I'm just doing a monologue. Like, and I just like plowed through, like I was delivering the monologue and I was just very like animated and I would just throw energy at the room. And I just, that it took me a while, I think, to realize like they're supposed to laugh. But I remember one of my first like really big bombs and I was like newer. And looking back, I'm like, it wasn't that bad. You're just like afraid. And someone like was drunk in the back and they said something. I don't even know what they said, but I heard like chatter in the back and I like panicked and just kind of like gave up on stage. But I think that's a big thing. Like you learn the more you do it. Like there's ways to bomb gracefully, right? Like sometimes the
Yeah.
room doesn't always understand your bit, like, or they're not your crowd, like they're not the audience for you, like, and that's fine. I understand I am not for everyone. So there's times where you're just not the vibe of the room, but there's a way to still be truthful to yourself and be confident in what you're presenting, even if they're not picking up on that. I feel like when you truly, truly bomb, it's because you give up on yourself and you're just like, forget your confidence, forget everything, and you just kind of plow through and black out. And I don't know, I think just having awareness, even if it's not going well, is such a strength. Now I say this, but there's still days when it doesn't go my way. But yeah.
See, I'm just going to say this to all my comedian friends that whenever you bomb, just think that you're reading a monologue in front of people. That's it.
That's
Bombing is
it.
nothing but just
Exactly.
you reading a monologue. That's it. I
Uh-huh. Or I'll be like, I'm just having a conversation, and that's okay. I love talking to people.
And you said you started 5 years ago, which was just after COVID. The
Mhm.
competition must have been terrible that time. Everyone was doing comedy just after COVID. Everyone was returning. And you didn't even pick up some hack topics, which are like easier to make fun of or joke around. You took a very difficult topic about your own career. How hard was it for you?
Yeah, I mean, it was so hard. I had like dabbled with comedy during the pandemic with some like online courses and stuff like that, and taking some classes and stuff uh online and doing like online shows.
Horrible,
But at
horrible.
the time, I know at the time I was like, I just need something to do because I can't really dance right now, so I need a creative outlet. Um, yeah, it was definitely hard getting started in comedy because I did feel like I bring a very different energy to the room, and I still feel that often. Uh, because, it's hard being a bubbly girl. No, it can be like it's just a different vibe than a lot of comedy clubs are used to. And I did feel like really out of place. But then I found just the most amazing group of comics that were just so supportive and just I feel like I found my people and that helped me really to grow on stage and also just realizing like we can't all be the same. That's kind of the whole thing. Like if we're all the same, then like who's gonna stand out?
So who did you idolize when you started comedy? Who did you like look up to? Who did you like follow when you started comedy? Or even before that?
Yeah, I think when I started comedy, I fell in love with Eliza Schlesinger.
Ah,
Her first few specials were very much like people would send them to me, and this is before I even did comedy, but people would send them to me and be like, LOL, this is you. She had so many bits about going out as a young woman and being with your friends, and I don't know, I really she was a huge inspiration to me to even just start. And I also felt like doing stand-up was never on my radar. So ever. I never even thought about it, but watching her do material that was very, I don't know, I feel like female centric and just, talking about going out with her girls, I think I never realized. I was like, oh, women are allowed to be funny now. Talk about girl things. Like you don't just have to talk about, whatever, your bitch of a wife. Like you can talk about, you know, getting ready with the girls and stuff like that. She was a huge inspiration for sure.
and ever since you started seeing her talk about happy things, you also started bringing in a lot of optimism in your show.
Yeah, I just love, I don't know, I'm just a happy person. I think that I worked with my comedy mentor who I was like so blessed to find pretty early on in my career, Christy Summers, who is a legend. She's so great. She has a very bubbly energy as well, and is just she does such a beautiful job talking about heavy topics, but then also bringing the sunshine and all of that intermix. So obviously, like she has been my number one kind of since day one. And one of her good friends is Nicole Byer, who I also
Okay.
love. And I feel like Nicole is just also has such a joyous energy on stage and is so different than a lot of the other comics that you see. And then Kat Cohen, I'm obsessed with her. She's doing a show in New York right now, and I can't wait to see. But she had a special come out, and she was in this pink glitter jumpsuit, and it's on Netflix. It's so fun, and I was like, I want to
Yeah,
be her
I have
best
watched clips
friend.
of that special, and I can just the image just came right to my head. But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
see, performing stand up as a happy person is very rare
It's
because
rare, I know.
where will all the misery come from? The misery comes from being the funny comes from the misery. So if you're a happy person, where does the funny comes from?
Yeah, I think there's still a lot. The fun thing is when you present as a very like happy-go-lucky person, like the misery is still there. I've just been trained through my life to come out this way. So what's fun is when you say these really like dark jokes, but with this face, and people are like, oh, it really like takes them off guard, the switcheroo of it all. So uh that's also just really fun for me because people are like, did she just say that? And I'm like, ha ha ha, yes, I did.
Yeah. So now let's talk about your show, Bride to Be. How would you define that show?
Yeah, I mean, I was getting married, and
Congratulations.
I
Yeah.
thank you. I was getting married, and then I was just like, I'm in my early 30s, and it felt like an age where I was engaged, but also like five of my friends were engaged or just got married. So there was just a lot, and it felt like a very specific time in life. And art imitates life. I was doing a lot of just jokes about it on stage in my stand up. I was doing some character work and sketches, some characters that were wedding adjacent. And I don't know, I just kind of thought one day, wow, I have a lot of material on this subject that is wedding planning and what that means to me. I also have all of these girlfriends that are going through a very similar experience in life, and we're always just joking and laughing and like sending each other the dumb memes or like, spiraling about the price of flowers or stuff like that. And I don't know, it just kind of clicked. I was like, I have so much of this material and it feels like this is so pertinent to a lot of people and a lot of people would find this relatable. So what would happen if I made a show? And when I first did a workshop of the show was about a year ago. It was before I was even married. And it was very much like very much a workshop, like very much like, hey, I don't know what this is going to be. Like I had some friends open and go in between me, and I just kind of did whatever I had in the subject of marriage. There wasn't really a plot at the time, but that was super helpful. And then I let it rest for a while. I got married, did all of that stuff, and then I kind of found the story after actually going through with it. But I kind of like found the ending and the through line and like how I wanted to shape it. So that's kind of, yeah, all came together. And I just felt like I personally was going through so many different emotions at the time because there are a lot of just outside voices when you are, planning a wedding, but also just for your life in general of like how you should be moving through it or what decisions you need to make. I don't know. I felt like a lot of people probably feel that way. And it's just finding the nuance and the balance between all of these different voices and trying to find your own point of view felt important to me.
So can we see some jealousy also in the material that okay, one of the girls is getting married when five others are getting married, so they're all kind of jealous of each other preparations.
No. Oh my gosh. It was the best. Me and my best friend, she was literally my maid of honor. She got married 2 weeks after me. And she, when she was like booking her venue, she was like, "Is that okay? I'm so sorry." And I was like, "This is amazing because we're going to be in it together. We're going to be planning everything together. We're going to be able to like work with each other to be like, hey, did you do this yet? Do you have any advice on this yet? Blah, blah, blah." And I mean, I just love a wedding. I love a party in general. So I'm like, please keep it. And I don't know, I just love being there for my friends on their big days. And that was it. It was like a lot of my close friends, and I got to officiate some weddings. I got to officiate two weddings, which was really fun. And I don't know, there's something like just so special about being a part of your friend's life in such a big way. So, yeah, I actually loved it.
Your show is going to be pretty unique because that's what I said. Like normally people joke about jealousy and why am I not getting those flowers and everything, but you are making the show out of like pure happiness and it's just joy everywhere.
Yeah, it is. It is definitely a lot of joy. And you'll also, personally, I felt like I was feeling like really excited. And I'm just, if you can't tell, an anxious person in general. So just like a lot of anxiety on like getting the details together and everything. But for me, I guess the conflict came from like being told, like I want to get married to this man that I love so dearly, but the actual constitution of marriage and the history of it is not really like great. Like it really was like, hey, girls, you're his property now. And so just kind of figuring out what it meant to me in this day and age while also being, told that like if I do this, I'm a bad feminist, but if I don't get married in the church, then I'm a piece of shit. Like all of the voices coming
Right.
at you. So, yeah.
And are there going to be any crowd interaction or crowd work in the show?
Yes, there is. It's not scary though. I feel like
What the
My husband's not a performer at all, and he hates crowd work. So I always have to be like, no, it's like very friendly. I'm not gonna pull you on stage. We're not like doing anything wild. It's more of just like I am just talking to the crowd. That's what I love about this show is it really feels like I'm with my best friends and I'm telling them about my experience of the wedding. So you might get a general question to the audience or two, but you might catch a bouquet if you're lucky. But other than that, it's yeah, it's pretty fun.
Yeah, that sounds like a very like a happy show. Like people would walk out with laughs and with a lot of happiness. Like you're just sharing your happiness with
Yes.
the others.
Yes, absolutely. And in fact, that's what one reviewer said. They said you can't help but get swept up in her joy. So that's what
Wow,
I
that
hope. And times are hard, so come laugh with me.
right. And what's your favorite part about the show? Is there any specific part that you love? No spoilers, but just any specific part.
No. Yeah, yes, yes, yes. There's so many parts I love. There's a lot of characters, so I jump in and out of characters throughout. So that's always fun being able to transition from, kind of me to like the outside voices that we hear. That's fun. Like I said, there is some dancing and I just love to dance, so that's always fun. It's also kind of nice, and I would suggest this to anyone doing a solo hour. It's kind of nice to just not speak for a minute and a half and just dance. So, is that ridiculous? Throw in a dance break, honestly. I think more shows need dance breaks. And and there's a part at the end that is again not to spoil anything, but it's kind of bait and switch and or like a big callback, I would say, and it's so fun. The audience always like
Uh,
eats it up.
People love callbacks, and every comedian thinks like for every comedian, writing a callback is an achievement, I guess.
Oh yeah, it feels so good. I'm like, wow, am I Shakespeare?
Yeah, but I'm still thinking that keeping quiet for a while and like a comedian not using the mic but his body to make people laugh and happy. Yeah, I know why that's your favorite part of this show.
Yeah, yeah, it's fun.
So, what is after Fringe? Have you planned anything, or you're just going to take in all the happiness and then rest for a while?
Oh God, I wish. No, I'm really excited. I'm doing the Philadelphia Fringe, which is close to where I live. It's in
Oh,
yeah, Philly, PA. I'll be doing that in September. And then I will be at Soho Playhouse in November, which is very exciting. And
so
you heard
you
it here first. I haven't announced it yet, but ticket link in
thank
bio.
thank you so much. And anything you want to say to our followers?
Oh my gosh. Come to the show. It's gonna be fun. Laugh. Times are hard, and I don't know. It's good to laugh. It's good to like find these little things that bring you joy, I think. And thank you so much. This was so fun.